So like I said, just to repeat, so that just to make sure that everything I've said earlier is going to be inside of the recorded video. I forgot to record the screen. So this is a blank screen here. So if you come to this side, this is where you see all the pages that you've created, and we created a new page the other time. So this is the login page here. So if you check the widget tree, you are going to see a column inside of it. This is the column that you are seeing. Now the page that we want to work on is the home page here. So the initial page that was created with when we created the app. So now if you come here, this is where you see all of the widget tree. Currently we have nothing inside of this place. So now the reason why I opened this Figma file. Now, like I said, it is very, very important thing that you should know that if you are given a project to work on, they will always give you, they are going to present you a prototype, and this is what a prototype is all about. A prototype is a UI UX design work. So this is carried out by a UI UX designer. So it's after a UI UX designer designed the prototype, then they will explain what the app is going to be all about. Now then this design is going to give you a clear view of how the app will look like after you've developed it. So like we have here, this is just an onboarding screen. So now this screen that you have here, it's the app that I've showed here. So this is the app here. This is me building the app currently. So now this app that you're seeing here, this screen is what we call the splash screen. So splash screen is when you open a new app. For instance, if you download an app from Play Store or App Store. Now when you open it, you first see something like a logo that will come that will be in the middle, and then anything. So after the logo shows, then you are going to see something like this, an onboarding screen. So this onboarding screen. So when you open any app, this is a splash screen is going to first show, then you have an onboarding screen. So I'm just going to talk about how to lay out widgets, so you don't need to worry yourself about all of this now. Now if you look at this, for instance, let's take a look at this. This is a simple screen that contains two widgets here. First of all, we have a column widget inside of this. So a column is we use a column in aligning widgets, putting widgets one after the other. So for instance, you have a test widget here. This is another test widget. Both of them are inside of a column, so you align widgets vertically. So if you look at this screen now, currently we have a blank screen. There's nothing inside of this. There's no widgets inside of this. This is just a pure scaffold. So if I want to make something like this, let me bring it to another screen. So if I want to make something like this, all I need to do is that, now since I already analyzed what this screen is all about, I know that there will be a column inside of this screen, and then I will put the two widgets inside of them. So now what I need to do is I can come to my widgets. If you overthrow it, you will see UI builder, and then you will see widgets here. These are widgets. Everything that you see here, they are just widgets. It's more like if you are familiar with HTML and CSS. So this is the HTML here, and then this is where you come to style it. So this is where the CSS is. So same thing. So it's called widgets when it comes to Flutter, and when it comes to Flutterflow. So Flutterflow, like I said, is the drag and drop of Flutter. But one thing I need to make you guys to understand is that if you the reason why I'm teaching you guys Flutter and Flutterflow is that if you're able to know, if you get familiar with this Flutterflow, now you understand how application is built when it comes to Flutter. Flutter is something that you are going to work. If you want to learn it, it's a minimum of about 1 year for you to to know the foundation of Flutter. To be able to build a full-fledged app. So, but for Flutterflow, you only need about just 2-3 months to build a full-fledged app. So for you to build, okay, now let's go back to what we are talking about here. So now that I know that this is inside of a column, now I need to drag a column inside. Now you see this is a column widget here. So I'll drag it inside of this place. Now the column is inside. So if you come to widget tree, you will see that there's a column inside. Now I know it contains two widgets, which are the test widget, the first one and the second one here. So I can either come back here to look for this is test widget, or I can still come back to the widget tree and just add. If you look at this icon here, it's add widget to the add what you say add a child to these widgets. So sorry. So if I click on this and I add a test widget, you can see it's at the top of the screen here. I'm going to add another widget, which is test. Now, one thing you should know about column is this: column can take as much as possible different kind of widgets. So you can add more than 2 widgets as much as you want. So you realize that this column is taking the width of the text. So and then it takes all the height of the screen. So for you to make this column to spread so that you can put the widgets can stay in the middle. Now this is where you now come to the styling of it. Now the only thing that you can do for column is that you can only change the main axis alignment. You can't style it, you can't give it a color, you can't change the border radius or anything. You can only change the main axis alignments and cross axis alignments, which we have here. So this is where you see column properties. You can only change the properties here. So for what we want to do now is we want to enlarge this, make it come. It should spread. To do that, we are going to go to the cross axis alignment and put it here. Or if I should check, if you see what is going, okay. Now if I click on this stretch, if you overtray it, you will see what it does. Stretch. Now you can see it's spread over the screen. So now this is test widget. Now these test widgets that you are seeing here, this and this, they are both in the middle of the screen. So for me to make this test here and this one to come to the middle of the screen, now I have to edit the mother here. This is the parents, these are the children. So I have to edit the parent to make the children to be in the middle of the screen. Now to do that, I'll come to the main axis alignment and put it here. Now you can see they are in the middle of the screen. Now this test widgets are spreading from left to right of the screen. So for me to make this test widget to be in the middle, what I can do is I can make the test to be there. I can come to the test alignment. This is where we start with test here. You can see. So you see this is the test. You can edit the test here. Now conditional visibility, in case you want to show on the screen, so you want to show on mobile or desktop or anything. You don't want it to show on mobile, you want it to show on desktop. You don't want it to show on desktop, you want it to show on web. So this is where you set the conditional visibility. So for now we are not doing anything concerning that. So now to style this widget, to make this widget come to the this test widget come to the middle, we click on align. So you can see it's aligned. It's aligned to the middle now. Then we could do the same thing for this one too. So both of them are in the middle. Now the next thing for us to do is to style the widgets. So if I come here, this fatitude, so this is just a logo, it's a picture. So it's something I can write. So if I come to this side and then type fatitude, then dots. So the next thing is for me is to style this. Now I know this test are the same color with this button color because this is an image. I can't get the color from Figma here. So now I know that this is a design here. So then I can be able to get this color. Now if I scroll through, then I will see the color. This is the color here. This is the color code. So then I can come to this test. Then I can come to where we have color, primary color. So you can either paste it here, or you can come open this, click on this, and then you see the color here. So you can also paste it right here. Then you click on use the color. Now you can see the color has changed. Now the font size of this test, now because this is an image, so then for me to know the width, the size of these fonts is going to be difficult. So what I need to do is I can just guess any kind of font size there. Let me say 28, or let me say 32. Let me use 40 now. Can you see? So we have something like this, although they are not the same font type, so that one doesn't mean for now. So now we have fatitude like this. Now the next thing is to have this test here. So let me just copy something for a test like this from here. Now this is copy. I can click on this to copy it. Then I can come to this next one. Then I paste it. Now we'll see. Now there's another thing is this. Now we can see that this test, I mean, is not spreading the way, like if you check the second one here, they are not spreading to, I mean, it's not, you can see the way this spread almost close to the edge of the left side and the right side of this of the screen. So we don't want something like this. What we can do is we can decide to give this a border, I mean a padding, and decide to give, or no, sorry, this is going to align. So we can decide to come to the styling here and give it a padding. So the padding can be, let me say 40 left and then 40 right. So this is, I mean, you can do something like this. And also if you check, I think there's a space, little space at the top. So I can decide to give it just about 10 padding at the top. So I think we have something like this now. So although it's still not like the way we have here, so I can decide to still give it a little bit padding here to 50. So now, so it's looking like this, of course. So you can still add little padding, but at least this is okay now. So now this is how you lay out, I mean, a widget inside of a role. So we've built a simple screen right now. So now for instance, when we have, let me say we have another test widget inside of this column. So I can come to this place and add another test widget inside of this column. Now you see, now this widget is still overflow, I mean it's going to the left, I mean it's getting to the edge of the screen. So doing this, okay, now if I say I want to align it, I want to make it something like this, let me just copy the test here and paste in the second widget again. So you can see now, so doing this I'll say, okay, let me, now I will need to give this one padding again. So padding of 50 both left and right side and 10 at the top. So this doing this like this is going to, I mean, you have to be giving padding to all of the screens that you are going to be making. So there's a better way which you can do it is you can just come to the parents here, which is the column, and then decide to pad the left and right of the screen. So if you okay, so if you come to the column here, then you come to the padding. So let me just give 50 result, 50 left and then 50 right. Now you can see, then I can just remove the padding here. So now, so then also this one I can make the text to be centered aligned. Now can you see? So then I can just give this one a top padding of 10. So this is it. So now this is a simple screen. This is you laying out widgets one after the other, so vertically, all about laying out widgets horizontally. So for instance, if I look for a design that deals with role, okay, for instance, let's look at this. If you look at this screen here, so we have, if I'm to analyze this, just this screen, this one here, this thing that you are seeing here. So if I'm to analyze this screen here, now I notice, what I know is that this is inside of a role widget now, and then we have a container which is styled to have both I mean to have border radius here, and then there's a text in the center, so which is the same thing with this, and then they are aligned horizontally. So for me to do this kind of a thing, what I need to do is, now I'm going to still put it inside of this screen that we have here. So now that I know that I need to have a role inside of this place, so I can come to the widget tree here. I can decide to add another one, or let me go back to where you can add search for, I mean, see different kind of widgets that you want, then you drag it. This time around you have to drag it. So now you can see the role here. So now I need to have a container. This is a container that holds this text. So what I need to do is, I'll come to this role. I can still come to this widget tree and see the widget tree. Now this is the widget tree here, open it, and this is the role here. So then I can decide to add a container. So if I add a container, Now the container is inside of the row. So now let me design this container to be exactly what we have here. So if I over through this design, I can see that it has a fixed height of, if you look at this what is showing at the this purple container, you'll see that it has a 55 width, and then also 25 height. So now what I need to do is let me just give it a height first, a height of 25. As 25 is going to be too small anyway, so let me give it a height of 30, or it's kind of small here. So because this is a chip, the reason why you are seeing it that is kind of big here is because I enlarged the screen. So if you look at this way, so it's a chip. So what I need to do is give it a height, so let me just give it a height of 50. So now we have the screen here, so I will still leave the width to be 100. So now what I can do to this container, let me first copy the color. So if I come to the screen here, so then I'll be able to see the color here. This is the color. I can copy it, then come to the screen. Now you'll see fill color inside of this container. So now if I click on this, then come to this place and paste the color, and then use the color. Now you see this is the color here. So if I click outside of the screen, now you see that it has a sharp edge. So what I need to do is come to the container and then come to the border radius. So this is where we'll see border radius. So there are different properties you can set for container. So you can expand, make the container to expand, then you can give it a padding, alignment. So then you can make the container to be in circle. Can you see? So then also you can change the width, the height, the fill color, the border color. So you can give it the border color. This is where we have the border radius. You have minimum width, maximum height, maximum width, maximum height. Now you can give it some shadow, gradients, background image, and so on. So now what we need to do to this is to add a border radius of, let me say, 20. So it's still not something like this, it's not totally circled. So I can come back to the border radius, and let me just give it 50 because the height is also having 50. So now we have still not, let me give it 70, I think. So now we have something like this. So now you will notice, okay, now we have a test inside of this here. So then I can drag a test widget. So there's a shortcut to adding widgets directly, which is for Mac you press Command and then F, or for Windows you press Control F. So if I click on Command F on my Mac here, then I can add the test widget and drag it inside of this column. Now you can see this test is inside of the container rather. So if I click on Command F to remove it, then I can come to the screen here. So now I can click on it because I need this test to be in the middle of this container. So what I can do is I can align this test to be in the middle. Now you can see what I did here. I click on align. This is the aligned part of the test widget, and I click on the middle, then it went inside of the middle of the container. So then I can change the test to what it is here. So to do that, I need to click on the test. So copy it and come to the test widgets here and then paste it. Now we have something like this. So now what about the rest one? So what I can do is, since I've designed, because I know that all of them here, they're having the same properties, the same container with same colors. So the only difference is the text inside of them. So what I can do is I can come to this container here, then I can duplicate it. So if you right click on your mouse, you see all options for you to do here. We have duplicate, we have wrap, we have replace, we have remove, we have add comments, and so on. So what I can do is I can duplicate the widgets. Now you can see it came in, it's inside, because it's inside of a row, so it's going to duplicate the text beside each other. So then I can also do the same again and duplicate it again. Now we have 3. Now you will notice that because we part this container, the column to 50 pixels left and 50 pixels right, and that's why you are seeing this here. So let me reduce the padding to something reasonable, 20. So and then 20 here. So now we can see the full of this the whole container that is inside of the role. So if I click on this role now, we have something like this, which is, so but what I can do, you can see that there's a space between them. So what I can do now is click on the properties of the role here. I want to align them to be, all of them to have equal space left and right. So if I click on the role properties, this is it here, this is it inside of the widget tree. Then I'll come to the properties. You can see the row properties. So it's also similar to the column the one that we looked before this. So now I can do, for now is currently on main axis alignment. If I put on cross this center here, you can see it came to the center. If I put it here, it's going to come to the other side. Now if I put it here, you can see if you overthrow it, you will see space evenly, meaning evenly spaced child elements. So if I click here, so they are going to have equal space both left and right. And if I click here, everything is, this is also space around. Okay, this is space around, or spread everything apart. So I can give it space evenly. So you can see now they're having, they're looking nice now. So then I can decide to space it from the rest of the widgets that are here. So what I can do is I come to the role, click on the row, then give it a padding of, let me say 20. Now you can see it here. So then I can decide to add the remaining text here. Now there's something that you're going to notice now. You are going to see okay, this still fits in, but what if in a situation whereby the text doesn't fit inside of the container? So what if it's bigger than the container? For instance, let me type rubbish here. Now you can see now it's coming to the next screen. So in this case, what I can do is, let me just give it a little. So what I can do in this case is, now because the container is having a fixed width, so if you come to this width, this is the fixed width. So what I can do is that I can just remove the width and make it to make this container to decide its own width based on the child that is inside. So if I remove this, now you can see that it's taking, and this text is also still not coming to the bottom. Okay, because actually, this is another container which I need to style it. Now you notice that this one here is taking the width. This container is taking the width of the text. So now what I need to do is I can now decide to pad that container. So I can pad the inside. Okay, now is the text I'm going to pad. I can pad the inside of the text and give it 20 pixel left, and then 20 pixel right. So that it's going to have a little space both sides. So you can see. Now for me to do this again, I will do it on this one too again. So then comes to the text and have 20 pixel left and 20 pixel right. Now this is okay. Now this one too, if I remove the width, now you can see that it takes over the rest of the space. Now what I can do is then I can come to the text and give it 20 pixel left and right. So now you can see. So no matter the text that you put inside, no matter the text that you put inside is going to enlarge the container, then this padding will automatically be added to it. So this is how you solve the issue of when you have text that is bigger than the container. So now we've talked about columns, and then we've talked about row. This is row here. Now let's look at another one, which is going to be the final one that we're going to look at this night, which is stack. For instance, if you look at this thing that you are seeing here, this is the way they did this, is they make use of stack. Now there is if you look at this very well, now this is going to be kind of complex to achieve. To give to you guys as an example, I will look for something that is simpler here. So let's look at this. Now if you look at this is a box here. Now it has a background image, so we can call this box a container which have a background image of this. Now we wrapped this container is going to be inside of a stack. What the function of stack is that stack lays widgets on top of another. So like the way rows lays widgets vertically, and rows lay widgets horizontally, column lays widgets vertically, stack lays widgets one on on top of their self. So these are three most important widgets that you'll be using. You are going to always use it when you are building any projects. So if you look at this is a container that is inside of a stack, which has a background of this. Now we have another container which is inside of this too. So this is it here. Then we have another container at the bottom here, and then we have one here too. So to build something like this, I'm not going to add all of these contents, but the only thing I'm going to add is just this container here and then this one here. So to do something like this, we are still going to do it inside of this screen here. So I'm going to add another widget inside of this screen. So I'm going to add a container inside. Now this container, I'm going to put a stack inside of it. If I click here, then I can search for widgets. Stack is what I want to put. Then I can put the stack. You can see the stack is inside of this container here. So let me give this container a padding top so that it's going to be from the rest of this here. Now we have this stack inside of the container. So to build something like this, now I need to add. So what I can do is, since container is holding the stack, so I can just give this container, I can make it to have a background image. So if you come to the styling here, you see background image. So I'm going to make it a network image. So there should be let me see if we can get randomly generated image, sample data image. So we can get sample here. So let's just give it. So now this should give us an image. So now okay, now let's use this image inside. So for instance, then I need to give the container height and width. Now you can see the image is inside. So what I can do is then give the container height of let me give it 300. Then the width should, it should take the rest of the width. So for you to give a container for you to make a container to take the rest of the width, you click on this infinite, so it's going to take the rest of the width. Now we have this container. So then we can style the container to have a border radius of, let's say, 20. So if I click here and give it 20, so now you can see. So now we are inside of the stack. Now this is the stack. So what I need to do to have this again is I can add a container. So this is the container. You can see the container is on top of the parent, which is the container here. So then I can give it a width of, it should be 100, and this height should be 50. Now then the border radius also should change. Let me give it 10. So then I can drag this here, I can drag it and bring it to this side. Now you can see it here, so which is something like this too. So let me just make it to take the whole this thing. Let me increase the border radius to be 50. So we have something like this. So then I can decide to add a widget. Now if you notice, now this is another widget. Now there is a role inside of this widget, and then we have an icon, then we have a two test widgets. So I can do that. Then well, for me, let me just go straight to this one too. Now I can add another container. So if I come to this, then add another container. So this is container. So I can make this container here to be at the bottom. Now you can see of the screen. Then make it to have infinite width. Now you can see that it's taking the width of this. And if you notice, now you can see there is a sharp edge at the bottom of this, of the parents, which of this container. There is a sharp edge here because the container is taking the edge. So what I can do is I can style the parents, which is a container, and there is what we call clip. I don't know if it's inside of Flutterflow, or for Flutter we have what we call clip. Okay, now you see this is it here, clip contents. If I open this clip contents, Now if you see, now you can see, now we don't have a sharp edge at the bottom again, so it's taking the edge of the container of the child of the parent. So that's how you clip a child with a parent. So now what I need to do is, now I need to style the container, so, and give it border radius left and right, top left and top right of 20. So if I come here, let me remove this from making changes to all of the edges. Let me give it 20, and then give this one to be 20. Now you can see that it's having what we have here. So the next thing is to style, to change the color. So the color, which is the color, I think we have something like that before. So if I come to the fill color, then I can use the color that we've used before. Now if I click on use, now you can see, now inside of this widget, this design here, you can the color is actually, there is an opacity inside of the color, inside of this container. So what we can do is go back to the color. This is the color here. Then you have what we call opacity here. This is where you have the opacity. Then you can reduce the opacity here, and then use the color. Now you can see we can see the picture at the background now. So this is how I'm going to, this is where I'm going to stop here for the stack. Now, so this is how you lay out widgets. So when it comes to now the three most important widgets that you are going to be using in any project that you are given is these three main important widgets. You'll be making use of a column, a row, which is a column that aligns widgets vertically, a row that align widgets side by side, and then stack, which align widgets on top of each other. So this is all you are going to be using. This is what you are going to be using mostly. Then the rest of you look at the widget. The rest of these widgets, the rest that you see here, they are just they are, of course, you are going to be making use of them, like this list view. This what list view is going to do is it's going to make you to let your widgets to be scrollable. So like you can scroll through the screen. So this is the function of this divider. All of these, they are just addition. They are not what we call they are not a layout widget, but just additional widgets that you can use for your application. So this is where I'm going to stop for now, and I'm going to give every one of us assignments. You guys have to build this, and then on Saturday we are going to have a revision class. So now let me stop I'm going to stop this record, and then you guys can ask questions.